Welcome to Charism Life, a cultivated space of growth that is drenched with the aromas of greatness, where wisdom in all of her beauty speaks. I am your host, Christy Payne-Jones, and I am weak. I am weak, and let me just start off by saying that sometimes it's so hard to say. And I'm not talking about weak from just being hysterically amused in response to a joke or barreled over laughter, but I'm talking about that vulnerable space, the vulnerable truth of that which challenges our egos and suffocates our pride. The weakness that comes with the constant, tireless battles that we face in this thing called life. And this is some real vulnerable stuff right here, but in all things, but God. So I have had multiple conversations with my son in which I have expressed being tired and often in times of struggle, just feeling alone. And let me just say, certainly not from the absence of the presence of God, but more so the absence of community that just, steps in and wraps their arms around you like God calls. And as my son would embrace my thoughts with caution and a juvenile compassion, in the last conversation we had, he responded in a matter of factly type of way that painted me as someone who encounters adversity, plants their feet on solid ground just to apparently easily figure it out, recover, and move on. And his perceptions and the like perceptions of others is clearly far from what unfolds internally within my mind and within my world. And so, reflecting on this has caused me to realize that where these two worlds intersect, the world of perception and the world of my reality, it often lands me at the place of feeling like strength and just being strong can be a gift and a curse. And you may say, how? Like, how is that? Um, just giving the illusion of being strong often leaves one in a space of feeling alone in the midst of the struggles and adversity. And not even from a lack of companionship, whether friendly or relational, but because of an assumed he or she, look, they're strong, they got it, they'll be found, they'll bounce back. And this is a perception that often yields varied responsive behaviors from, you know, I'm just going to give them time to figure it out and they'll bounce right back to, I will give them time because I really don't know what to say in this moment or what to do for them. Or even just look, I know they will recover. They always do. They're strong. I'm going to give them time, give them space to recover so that they can return back to the old person I knew. And then I will come back around. In all of this, I have experienced these things navigating, the challenges that I face through life. Not all the time, but often. And most recently, I have encountered it when with dealing with loss. And in each of these instances, my perceived strength, and please know, I am not in the business of throwing shade, but more so in the business of removing veils. And in each instance, unfortunately, they have left me alone and distant from community. It is this that has fueled the aforementioned gift and cursed mindset that I settled on. And honestly, I've held on to this concept for years, and my grip has only gotten stronger and stronger as I encounter adversities until now. My. I truly appreciate the fact that learning in all uh, learning is an evolutionary honor, and I will eternally be a grateful student. And clearly, a desk is not the only thing that defines a student and exposes teaching moments. So, traversing through this thing, I most recently had another conversation with a beautiful soul in which we discussed the perception of strength. And in this, I hit a spiritual aha moment. And I love spiritual aha moments. And in that moment, I gained such a new perspective, which led me to Psalms. So I encourage you to just sit with me for a moment in Psalms and experience it with me. I'm going to even give you the Cliff Notes. I don't even know if Cliff Notes is a thing. So, how about we call it an appetizer? So, just dance with me to the foundational rhythms of the psalmist David with a touch of Isaiah, and then we're going to land in Matthew. So, in my weakness, in Christy's weakness, I arrived at Psalms 18:6, which says, "In my distress, I called to the Lord. I cried to my God for help. From his temple, he heard my voice. My cry came before him into his ears." So, in doing this, in crying out, what does God do? That takes me to Psalms 18:16 through 19. He reaches down from on high and took hold of me. He drew me out of deep waters. He rescued me from my powerful enemy, from my foes who were too strong for me. They confronted me in the day of my disaster, but the Lord was my support. He brought me out into a spacious place. He rescued me because he delighted in me. And as if this is not enough, as he always does, God delivers. So that takes me to Psalms 18:32 through 36. It is God who arms me with strength and keeps my way secure. He makes my feet like the feet of a deer. He causes me to stand on the heights. He trains my hands for battle. My arms can bend a bow of bronze. You make your saving help my shield, and your right hand sustains me. Your help has made me great. You provide a broad path for my feet so that my ankles do not give way. So, in all of this, in all of my weakness, because of his presence, I then go to Isaiah 40:29. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. And because of all of this, I become what is stated in Matthew 5:14. You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. So, reflecting on all of this, it birthed a mental transformation in me. And I realized that a spiritual mirror will always reflect clarity and invoke the compliance of a worldly view. So, me and my weakness yield not a perceived strength, but a valid, responsive acknowledgement of God's light and presence. So, in those moments where it is perceived, she is strong, and I am through Christ Jesus. or when it's perceived, she got this, and I do, through he who calls me a daughter of the Most High. Or when someone says, I'm just going to give her time. You know what? I thank you because I needed it so that I could rest in his arms and be restored. And the list could go on and on. And all the aforementioned responses, whether intended or not, they all draw on the impact of the illumination of his presence and his glory. So in this, I am also learning that distance, though that may not be what I feel I need in the moment, distance and solitude make room for an unobstructed appreciation and reverent awe of his works. His strength in my weakness is a light to the world, no matter how the world responds. And in this, it is never dark, and I am never alone. So, how dare I call this a curse? Again, Father, I stand corrected. Therefore, pulling back the curtains of pride, perceptions, lies, and egos, you'll find that weakness is merely a window of opportunity exposing cracks in our makeup where he shows his illuminative power. Just check 2 Corinthians 12 9 through 10. Paul, yeah, he knows. Devil, time and time again you tried. It kind of like a replay of Job, but through it all, as chapter 42, verse 12 of Job shows, the God we serve will always deliver twofold. What you see is a stellar confidence in knowing what my God has waiting. In every instance, these cracks are an opportunity for manifestation, better than any drug, as he calls me to higher destinations, surpassing the highest earthly voltage because it is he, the primary energy source in every generation. I have been called to be a conductor of transformation, executing electrical terminology without an electronic engineering degree designation, speaking with divine authority because his limitless power is driving this illumination, prophetically inclined to engage all five senses in all situations, speaking, illuminating, tickling, and touching the mind. Through him, I become the salt of the world that people are tasting. A lamp to the darkness. How dare I see that as a curse? The illumination of his strength through my weakness since birth. It is that which is the deliverance of a cure, an open door, no RSVP necessary, but an open invitation to blessings assured for those wanting to hear and receive more from the one whose demure, in essence, a testament will shine through my proud cracks of weakness forevermore. Reflection on this has transformed a gift and a curse mindset to the deliverance of a gift that's a cure. So I leave you with this. Ripples of weakness in all forms must recede when you allow the waves of his strength to endure. That's it for now, and it brings us to the end of this episode. I sincerely hope each word was of benefit to you and transcends through you as you impact the world. As always, you will find my quotes sprinkled throughout each episode, and many, many more are waiting for you in my book, of which the link can be found below. And remember, everyone has been blessed with a gift. Don't you leave this world without giving it away. Thanks so much for joining me in this episode of Charism Life. If you enjoyed the show, like, share, and subscribe, and I look forward to being with you again next week. Until then, this is Christy Payne-Jones, and much love to you always.